You rush back to the bathroom realizing you have left the bath water running with the baby in it. If the baby has drowned, you have done something awful and will deserve severe moral condemnation. If the baby has not drowned, you have simply been careless and got away with it.
Can we have the bad luck of being bad? Today, we'll discuss moral luck. Picture this. Two friends, Phil and John, living together. They go out partying, drink some suspicious water, and both return home, each in their own car. With exactly the same level of alcohol in their blood, John speeds through a traffic light, gets home, and takes a nap. Meanwhile, a distracted young person crosses paths with Phil, leading to a tragic incident as Phil runs over the young boy. John wakes up with a mild hangover, and so does Phil. But he's in prison. Maybe he will stay there for some years. How do we judge the actions of both men? Undoubtedly, the law says Phil's act was much more culpable. If they had caught John, who didn't kill anyone, he might have gotten a fine and lost his license for a few months. In contrast, Phil is looking at years in prison. This aligns with our moral sense. Death is much worse than someone driving slightly intoxicated. However, the only difference between the two is the circumstances. The fact that a young boy crossed Phil's path. Both took the same decisions, but Phil had worse luck than John. So, luck seems to be the only factor justifying the punishment and labeling Phil's behavior as worse. This is something American philosopher Thomas Nagel brought up in the 70s.
You rush back to the bathroom realizing you have left the bath water running with the baby in it. If the baby has drowned, you have done something awful and will deserve severe moral condemnation. If the baby has not drowned, you have simply been careless and got away with it.
This idea seems contrary to a common intuition that we should only morally judge things to the extent that they depend on us. Imagine this. If, in a fit of rage, you deliberately threw coffee on me, it would be terrible. But if we were in a car and a sudden brake by the driver led to it, I might be annoyed, but I wouldn't consider it malicious. I cannot judge you negatively for the incident. This also means that we shouldn't judge two people differently unless the differences are in factors they control. For instance, if a footballer kicks the ball so hard that it accidentally hits someone and sends them to the hospital, we shouldn't judge them differently from someone who made a similar shot that only results in a minor incident. In both cases, the players are simply doing their job. Regardless of the player feeling terrible, it's a matter of bad luck. Everything hinges on intentions. If I, with a gun in my hand, shout, "I fully intend to end you," should I be judged as a better person if the shot didn't end you? So, back to the point. Should we be more forgiving with Phil because he wasn't doing something many people haven't done before? I'm not saying it is a good thing. Or should we judge John more harshly and give him a punishment equal to Phil's since both had the same intentions? Sure, we can stick with the initial idea that both cases should be considered different due to the different outcomes, but this would mean changing our idea about the importance of control. So, we should assume morality isn't immune to luck. There should be something as paradoxical as moral luck. We can have the bad luck of being evil, or the good luck of being a little less evil. From this, some can argue that intentions should be what we consider when assigning blame or even praising someone. Because a distracted person who accidentally runs over a bad person wouldn't be considered as heroic as someone who intentionally risks their life to stop that bad person. But here, everything gets more complicated. To what extent do we control our intentions? We have the intentions we have because of the kind of person we are, but at the same time, a series of random factors has made us who we are. We are the very complex combination of many environmental and genetic factors over which we have no control. In a way, we can only display certain traits of our personality if circumstances allow us to. We are all at the mercy of circumstantial luck. Perhaps you are very generous, but lack the resources or appropriate beneficiaries to express that generosity. Also, we may suspect that we would never have engaged in the malevolent acts carried out by the soldiers in Auschwitz, although, of course, we can never be certain. We can only assert with confidence that we were fortunate not to have been in that situation. If it's in my nature to be selfish or cowardly because I have repeatedly experienced negative or traumatic situations in social interactions, is it fair to criticize me for fleeing danger or thinking a lot about my interests? For example, if I had been born in a more aggressive or marginalized area, could I have had the bad luck of resorting to robbing people instead of creating this video? In the end, some philosophers deny the existence of something like moral luck and focus on justifying these situations when the supposed moral luck manifests. Others accept it and continue to assess whether it obliges us to reform or revise the way we morally judge. There's a lot at stake. If we don't know how to morally judge actions, we might commit unjust acts. What do you think? Do you think there is such thing as moral luck? If so, how should we be acting different when it appears? Did the Auschwitz soldier have the bad luck of having to face that situation? What do you think about John and Phil? Leave a comment if you want to share your thoughts. Feel free to subscribe if you want to keep watching videos about philosophy, science, math, or whatever topic crossed my mind. Also, if you liked the video, please leave a like. See you next video. Bye.